Experts are concerned about the increase in electricity tariffs, emphasizing the burden that this will add to the country's already cash-strapped citizens. This follows Eskom's announcement of an almost 13% price hike for the 2024-25 financial year, which commences today. Last year, the power utility approached the National Energy Regulator of South Africa to approve its retail tariff and structural adjustment application. While the increase is lower than what Eskom initially applied for, the utility says the adjustment will help place it in a much better financial position.
The National Energy Regulator of South Africa has approved an 18.65% increase in electricity tariffs. NERSA's decision relates to the fifth multi-year price determination for Eskom for years 2023 to 2025. While the improved increase is lower overall than what Eskom had initially applied for, experts say it is still significant and far higher than inflation. First Source Money Executive Director Regulator says the increment will have a detrimental impact on the South African economy.
In a situation where we're going to be experiencing continued increases in the prices of power for quite a number of months or perhaps years to come, as a consequence of the government policy of trying to solve, according to them, the challenges of power. And we're already, as you know, as a country caught up in high inflation, high interest rates. And now, on top of that, we're going to have to add and to fork out another 12% or so, put it at 13% increase in the energy sector. This really is going to get the economy down, quite frankly, because the consumption would decrease as a consequence of disposable income going to utilities. And this, again, is not just going to affect this consumption. Essentially, the GDP as well may begin to collapse as a result of this.
In September 2022, Eskom applied for a 32% price hike for 2023 and 2024 and a 10% hike in 2024 and 2025. Economist Budiwa Gavaza says the increase places South Africans in a difficult situation that will see some moving to other sources of power supply.
South Africans find themselves in, another tough situation because, some of the things will bleed into direct bills that they have to pay for electricity. That's the first thing. And that ties in with higher food costs, higher fuel costs, and, higher education costs, entertainment costs. Everything has been on the rise. So in short answer, people will have to make a plan around it. But I think it's yet another thing that puts strain on the South African consumer. Some of the big dangers of something like this is that from a business point of view, whatever costs are seen to be increasing are also likely going to be passed on to consumers. That is a potential danger. The second piece to also think about is that for the people that can afford it, you might then see an increase in people ramping up their move to go off the grid. Those that can afford it, going out and buying solar, making sure that they have, either solar or alternative power sources in place so that they can rely less on the power grid. So a move like this might push some, on the top end to do something like that.
NERSA has allowed Eskom to recover 318 billion rands for 2023 and 2024 and 352 billion for 2024 and 2025. Nkosi says some consideration must be placed on the fact that the decision is taken against the backdrop of tough economic circumstances, including high interest rates, low growth, high unemployment, and load shedding.
We're going to be exposed to this for quite a number of years because the government policy has essentially failed, where they think government does not have money, therefore it has to ask, private sector to come in and support development in the country, power generation itself. Okay, that way, like in many other countries which have gone the route that we're going, energy is going to be very, very expensive. It's going to be unaffordable not so long from now. So we should brace ourselves for some of the hardest times in an economy that essentially has failed to grow. So it's double whammy. for the citizens. And unfortunately, NERSA does seem to agree with Eskom and indeed government as a whole that there's need for us to pay more because Eskom has to pay for its bills as well.
It is said that the ailing power utility was looking to recover 351 billion through the tariff hike in 2023 and 2024, and it planned to recover 381 billion the following financial year. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I am Khanyisile Molaba in Johannesburg.